Nuevas personas, forzarme a aprender nuevos idiomas. Sigamos practicando nuestra pronunciación en inglés.
Bueno, nos quedamos en good afternoon. Which terminal?
Good afternoon. Which terminal?
Muy bien, manténlo suave y presta atención al énfasis en la palabra terminal.
Good afternoon. Which terminal?
What would happen if I took a flipbook, which flips at about 12 frames per second, and ran it through AI frame interpolation software? Could I boost it up to 60 frames per second? So that's what we're going to do in this video. It's an experiment. We're going to take some of my flipbooks, run them through AI motion smoothing, and see how well it does. So we have this technology where you can take footage or animation that was originally filmed at, say, 24 frames per second, and we can artificially increase it to, say, 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second is definitely smoother, but it's not always better. I personally am not a fan of artificial motion smoothing on TVs. I don't like it, and it's the first feature I turn off on my TV because it looks fake and terrible. But I'm still curious. What would a flipbook look like at 60 FPS? If this animation is 12 frames per second and I want to increase it to 60 frames per second, that's 5 times the number of frames. That's a lot of interpolating. You'll have one real frame here, one real frame here, and then the AI is going to fill in 4 artificial frames in between. That means 80% of the final animation would be fake. So let's start with my pencil flipbook. I have some frame interpolation software called Rife. Let's run it through that and see what happens. Okay, there are lots of confusing settings here. Let's figure this out. This could be more difficult than I thought. It's time for some answers. Okay, so I got it to work, kind of, but not really. So it's not super different actually. There's a little bit of smoothing in there, but it's nothing significant. But we have a couple things working against us. First, although this flipbook is 12 frames per second, the video of the flipbook is 24 frames per second. So we've got a bunch of redundant frames to begin with. And second, we have all these frames with the blur from the pages moving. So what we need is a clean video to start with of this flipbook at 12 frames per second with no blur frames. I could shoot these pages one at a time as a stop motion, but I really want the final video to show the flipbook in my hands being flipped. So I'm refilming it, flipping slowly, and using a high shutter speed to keep every frame nice and crisp. Now I take the new footage, load it into Final Cut Pro, I chop up the whole video into individual frames, and then I delete every frame with a blur or a duplicate image. And now we have a totally clean video at 12 frames per second with no blur frames. Okay, now let's run that through the AI and see how it does. The one problem with this software, if you don't have a decent video card, it is slower than a herd of turtles stampeding through peanut butter. Okay, it's finally done, and now I'm gonna watch the whole thing for the first time and see how it looks. The title's weird. You can see the like the jiggliness in the title. I mean, this AI thing, it's having to create a lot that wasn't there to begin with. So you end up with a little bit of weirdness.
ser apagado.
Lá no site da promoção, é mentira o descontão.
Onde está a estrelinha? Na Samap eu não achei.
Lá no site da promoção, a Samap não mente não. Some, some, estrelinha.
Tapal diwai se ba bebe ke ga de ye yo che se wai ka ka elem men ge o pe este uga uf ha te che sha sha tu vi dis nak I maki znak ju ja
A, B, C, D, E, F, G H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V W, X, Y, Z A, B, C, H, D, H, E, F, F, G, N, H, I, J, L L, M, N, O, P, Q, R Her, S, T, E, T, O, E
Acita hais kutki kutkwa Leo shu ki miam pipa Kiko kwa kwa virasasti
The AI slop video that is playing in the background has 400 million views. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that it got that in 3 weeks. It was the third most viewed video for this entire month. And I just gotta say, I don't know who is watching this, but it better not be real people. Otherwise, we are cooked. The AI slop video that is playing...
Lyrics coming at you with supersonic.
The AI slop video that is... The AI slop video that is playing in the background has 400 million.
The App Store does.
What actually causes that clogged feeling in your ear? You see, most people assume it's dirt, but it's usually compacted earwax doing its job a little too well. When wax hardens inside the canal, it can block sound and affect hearing. So
when this student was
Our sleeping exam starts now. Red nose.
Da 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 da